Alright, so let's talk about Valkyrie Elysium. This is the newest entry in a long-running Valkyrie profile franchise, which started out on the original PlayStation in the early 2000s. This is an action RPG which primarily follows the adventures of the Valkyries. Based on Norse mythology, these are warriors which are created by the gods to help them in their plights against evil. So, is this game worth playing? Let's get into the overall summary, going over a bit of the story, the gameplay, and then my final thoughts and who I think should be picking this game up. So let's get into it. The game was published by Square Enix and developed in part by Square Enix and Soleil. At the moment, it's only available on PlayStation 4 and 5, and that came out September 29th, 2022. There's a Steam PC release coming up in early November. Quick disclaimer, I do want to thank Square Enix for the review copy, however, all thoughts will be my own. It's currently going for $59.99 US, and I played the PS5 version. So, the story. It takes place in a world of Norse mythology. Odin has been waging war against evil for thousands upon thousands of years. However, a great war has weakened him, and he needs time to recoup. While resting, he creates the Valkyrie warrior, which you play as. These are warriors created to fight on Odin's behalf, purging his enemies and saving the innocents. Throughout your travels, you'll be talking to lost souls, do quests to help them move on, fight gigantic monsters, recruit dead warriors who are worthy to serve under you, and unraveling plots of the mysterious Valkyrie-like beings who are trying to stop you. Alright, so some accurate tags for Valkyrie Elysium would be action RPG, single player, dark fantasy, hack and slash anime, and multiple endings. The game is pretty straightforward, with you progressing through somewhat large but linear levels. They last anywhere between 10 to 40 minutes and go across multiple chapters. The goals of the stage are usually to get to the end, fight waves of enemies, and sometimes a giant boss to, progress the story. Once you're done with the mission, you are sent back to the hub, in which you can relax, talk to your recruited summons Odin, and even do things like practice in the training ground and level up your weapon and skills. The hack and slash portion plays like Devil May Cry and old school God of War. It's an over-the-shoulder view with you platforming your way through areas, finding treasure, and beating down lots and lots of foes. You have access to different weapons like swords, rapiers, and spears. You will acquire magic for offensive and defensive options. Things like elemental fire and ice attacks. They can be more effective against some enemies. And there's healing magic if you don't want to use up your consumables. Speaking of consumables, you got your basic heal stuff, magic recovery, and then other things like temporary attack and even permanent HP increase if you can find those. Defeating enemies, opening treasures, and breaking things in the environment gives you gems. These are used to unlock new skills, improve stats, and upgrade your weapons. So that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. Let's talk about my final thoughts. Pros and cons. Who should be picking this game up and why? First of all, this is coming from someone who has not played any of the previous Valkyrie profile games. I was always aware of the franchise, but just never got around to playing it. With that being said, do you or should you play the previous games before this one? Fortunately, absolutely not. I felt like I did not miss anything here. There might be references to other past games, but you didn't really need to play those as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the combat. The combat here, I feel, is the strongest part about this game. It's hard to explain without you controlling the character yourself, but it feels very chunky and weighty. But this is a good thing in my opinion. There's a lot of hit stun. It's not moving too fast, so you can see everything that's going on, but you still have all of that craziness in terms of combos, dodging. The overall flow of combat is fun. You can really flourish and get fancy with your offensive approaches, which is always a good thing in hack and slash games. Keeps it from getting tedious. There's a glaring issue though that you'll find out as soon as you get into your first sets of combat scenarios, which is the camera. And they somehow messed it up. It gets the job done when you're fighting in large areas and one-on-one fights, but as soon as you get into smaller rooms and hallways, there's a problem with the camera simply untargeting your enemies. Even with things like pillars and trees getting in the way, it can trigger it. You target an enemy, you combo them up, but if you're near anything, there's a chance it simply swaps targets or stops focusing altogether. So you have to constantly fight against it in order to see if you finished off an enemy or not. It's really annoying, and it plagued me throughout my whole playthrough. I really like the skill weapon and recruit progressions. It starts off simple, but as you level up, it unlocks things like double jump, counters, buffs, and a lot more things, right? It comes in slowly at first, but just at the right times, I feel, to freshen things up. It's good to know. It's good to not overwhelm players at first, but towards the end, you're going to have a lot of ways to kill enemies. There's some things that really slow the game down, though. First of all, there's multiple endings. If you want to get the best one, you apparently have to collect every single collectible on each stage. They clearly say how much there are in each chapter. There are visible on the map, and it can be revisited. So what's the problem here? Well, there are a lot, and it takes a little bit of time to gather each and every one of them. It's not too bad. Maybe like a couple of seconds a piece, but when you have to go out of your way to run over there, jump over it, click on it, mash through some text, and do it all over again 30 times plus in a mission, time really adds up. Another thing which is really weird is how many treasure chests there are through any given stage. It's cool that you're getting, like, you know, really needed items like consumables and stuff, but they had the odd decision to put gems as a possible reward. You are constantly getting them through hitting enemies and breaking boxes and stuff. You get them really fast, then all of a sudden you get like 10 or something in a chest, which takes more time to open. You get like 50 or something from just breaking a cluster of barrels. It's just a weird waste of time. But you know, overall, I did have a lot of fun with Valkyrie Elysium. I like the theme and setting. The graphics are very anime-like, and they have this sort of heavy outline border around everything that's very dark. Not sure not sure if I like it or not. Not sure if people will like it either. The progression is fun, but I honestly feel like they should have not even used up a sort of level up system and just have you unlock stats, skills, equipments, and magic solely through stage and story progression. It feels like a tacked on system, and I would have preferred a faster, more stream-like loadout of equipment. It's either go all streamlined or more heavy in-depth in the JRPG, and it felt like some sort of weird halfway thing that just didn't work. So the story and level overall are definitely lacking here. You don't really feel attached to this main character, and a lot of the levels are kind of bland and somewhat lack variety here. It doesn't feel like they took a lot of risk and kept things kind of safe. The summons are pretty cool. You know, I'll quickly bring them up. They're story locked. They fight along beside you. You level them up as you use them. They can be used to travel around levels, break things, create bridges, and a lot more. You know, it adds more of a party feeling. So it's not just you versus a bunch of enemies. So who is this game for? All right, so unfortunately, without playing the other games, I can't say if it's a good Valkyrie game. But is it at least a decent hack and slash? I'd say it's fairly average in my opinion. You'll have fun here as long as you're here just for the combats, and you know, you can be patient with the camera and collectibles if you choose to go down the huge collectible routes. There is replayability if you want to get the good endings and harder modes, and you can max out your equipment. So there you go. I wish I could say I could recommend this at full price, but honestly, if you want to pick this game up, I'd say prices around $30 to $40 would be a good deal for this one. And that's Valkyrie Elysium. If you guys enjoy, leave a like, it helps a lot. If you haven't already, subscribe for daily videos. If you want to see my playthrough, I upload it all on the Let's Play channel, and come by Twitch where I stream all of it. All links down below. If you guys have any questions about the game, any comments, maybe you want to let people know about your experiences with the Valkyrie profile games, or this game in general. Did they mess it up? Let me know if you've played it. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.